children, a lot of people just think about the kids right there and there when they were kids, what happens when they're kids. But the thing is that if you have not gotten help, and I'm talking about counseling as well as deliverance, it still has not gone away. It's still there. And you know, a lot of people think, well, what could lead to demonization or demonic bondages? Well, get ready. I'm going to give you one of the ones that is very common, and unfortunately it opens the door for the enemy to bring that demonization or that emotional bondage and almost possession of children, and perhaps it's followed you all the way up until you're an adult. If you have not done so, please don't forget to click on the subscribe button. I had the privilege of just meeting one man just right now, and his name is Miguel Garcia. He is the owner, by the way, of C&M Body Works. It's an auto body shop here in town. So please look him up if you need any service, and also subscribe like him to our program. Again, don't forget to also go to Instagram and order your beard oil from Buffalo Man Beard Oil, because they are a blessing to our program. Now, what about kids? What opens the door to demonization and oppression from the enemy that they will need deliverance or even a strong exorcism? Perhaps you're an adult and you're thinking just about children, and you think that you're okay, but in reality it could be something that you are in need of deliverance. So what is it? The flat out rejection from the womb. A lot of mothers, when they found out that they were pregnant, had strong reactions to the pregnancy, and they said, I didn't want to be pregnant again. I don't want to be pregnant. And some of them even attempted abortions, and they didn't work. They took a pill, they took medication, hoping that it would just flush out the baby, and it didn't. And then they changed their mind and they felt bad about it. It's interesting, not too long ago, I had a case, and the gentleman is okay with me sharing this, but I had a case where it was a man who is in his 40s, and he still lives in the house with his parents. He cannot have a successful relationship. His brothers and sisters are married, but he's not married. He still lives in his home. And not only is he not married, he has a hard time getting his career lifted because he got arrested for drug possession in his car. Now, he claims that sincerely he was smoking pot, but when he got arrested, the drugs belonged to his friends. Long story short, it put in jeopardy, and actually it didn't put in jeopardy. It literally destroyed his career ambitions, because a career that he went to study in the university never took off, because he has that in his record of what he got arrested for in regards to drug possession. So now no one wants to hire him, and the profession he wanted to go into doesn't flourish because no one wants to give him a shot in regards to the implications that he might still be using drugs. What's interesting is this. Going back when we ministered to him, is that he clearly found out from his parents that his mother did not want to have another child. He's the last of all his siblings. She did not want to have the child. The spirit of rejection took advantage of that at that time and brought a bondage on his life, and up to right now has opened, and it was a legal right for the enemy to bring a curse in his life that he cannot have a relationship, he cannot start a family, he cannot start a career. All of these little creaky, bondagey things are bringing up bondage to his life. He got counseling, he got deliverance, and now he's stepping to a more and a better life in Christ Jesus the Lord. Those things, those kind of rejections hurt a child, and they stay with them. And what's interesting is that some parents don't even voice it to their kids. There's another situation where the mother had a child and she was abused through a molestation of a relative. And the child, the son that she had, reminds her of that relative that abused her. And for all of her life, she had this disdain, because she said, every time I see him, her uncle that sexually abused her. She never told her son, but her son always felt that sense of rejection from his mother. And that brought and opened a curse and a legal right for the enemy to come and bring demonic oppression and possession on his life. It goes from generation to generation. A lot of people that have worked in the helping professions also with people, with kids who have been adopted, no matter what. I don't care if there's a sense of rejection that they have to overcome. Even though they were placed into a good family, a lot of them struggle with a sense and a dread of, why was I not wanted? Why was I not cared for? Why did my family not receive me, my biological family? Even though they are happy and they are blessed by a new family, they still wonder why. And if it's not settled in a healthy mental health situation, and a loving family that is loving and nourishing and leads them to Christ, the enemy will take advantage and bring bondage in their life too. These things, again, could go from one generation to the other. I know of another lady that got ministry as well. She grew up in a good family, but yet she was adopted. She came to terms with it. She's emotionally and mentally well, healthy. And then she gave her life to the Lord. She came to know the Lord. But then she had a child, and her son, in drugs, a sense of rejection, cannot get a relationship going at all. Is very intelligent, but gets in and out of trouble in school. Why? Because that curse went from her to him. That legal right is generational. We must realize that we are living in a time where we were wondering the panic about the high divorce rate, but yet a lot of kids are growing without parents, and that spiritual covering is missing now. But now it's beyond that. It's not even single moms that we're dealing with. A lot of kids, even when you talk to them, is you have to, when you're bringing them in and you're asking them questions. What about your mom? Who do you live with? What about your uncles? But you have to ask, what about your father? And a lot of them is beyond being fatherless. It's beyond that sense that they never knew their father, and they seem to have a pain in them that a lot of it, I've seen them personally, they'll look down and they grab their abdomen as in a very deep pain. Why? Because the enemy has bound them with that spirit of rejection. We are beyond now divorce. We are beyond now single parents, where a lot of kids are growing without any parents at all. And they're being raised by grandparents that are barely keeping themselves alive. And now they have to raise kids and be there for them. And it's hard for them physically, energy-wise, and even health-wise. They're growing now without a sense of family. That spirit of rejection, the enemy's taking advantage of to bring bondage to children, and even more. It could be that you're an adult and you are dealing with that spirit of rejection. It's not just a mindset. It's not just about thinking positive. It's not just about changing the way you're seeing things and the perspective. It's a pain that needs to be resolved. Yes, through counseling, but it's also through deliverance. Because the enemy will still bind you and suck you down, because there was a legal right to bind your life and attack your life. If you need help, if you need deliverance, please send us that request. Let's make an appointment, or send us a prayer request and we will pray for you. I'll see you here next time. Share this video, and don't forget to subscribe and follow us. Don't forget, we're on YouTube, Spotify, Rumble, and TikTok, and much more coming up. We'll see you soon, where we'll supernaturally continue to walk on water. Be blessed.